We've been studying influential people and the impact that they've made on society. For your final project, you will choose one of these influential people and create an infographic that you would show to someone who doesn't know who your influential person is. This infographic will contain different kinds of media that will help your audience know and understand your person's influence and accomplishments. In this video, you will learn characteristics of an effective infographic and how to create your final project using a program called Piktochart. Let's start by learning about infographics.
Hi everyone, my name is Katie and I am a designer for Murphy Research. Today I'm here to talk to you about infographics and the importance of making sure that your data visualizations are impactful on your audience. Tip 1, use a simple style. No need for extra shadows or 3D effects, just use nice flat colors. Tip number 2, limit your fonts. There's really no need to use any more than 2 to 3 fonts in your design. You want to just keep it as simple and easy to read as possible. Tip number 3, no extra garnishes. Make sure that whenever you're adding something to your design, it has a purpose and an intention. If there's no need for it, then get rid of it. Tip number 4, use your colors thoughtfully. Establish a color palette from the beginning and make sure that it stays consistent throughout. Tip number 5, make sure that it's shareable, short, and sweet. So when you want to share it, you want to make sure that all the technical aspects work, make sure that it's short and concise, and add a little humor to it. Make it likable, make it something that people really want to read and share with others.
Now that we know the principles that we need to focus on in order to create a successful infographic, how will we determine what information we should include in our infographic so that we don't include extra information that will make our infographic look cluttered and busy? To help you get started, ask yourself these questions. What did you learn about this influential person that made you want to know more about them? What kinds of challenges did they overcome? What accomplishments do they have? What kind of influence did they have on the people around them? This is the kind of information that will be interesting to your audience and make them want to know more. Now that we know which information we should include and important design principles for infographics, let's start looking at Piktochart, the site you'll use to create your infographic. Alright, so to get started with your infographic, you're going to go to piktochart.com. We're going to create accounts together in class, so don't worry if you haven't signed up yet. When you log in, you'll see your dashboard, and then on the left-hand side here, you'll see the kinds of things that you'll be able to create. So up here in the top right-hand corner, we're going to click on Create New, and it'll ask you, what do you want to create today? We're making infographics, so go ahead and click on Infographic, and then you'll have the option to create a completely new infographic from a blank template, or you can choose a template that has already been created and then just customize it to fit the design that you want, as well as the content that you want to add. Let's take a look at the blank template. This will give you a lot of options for customizing and making it exactly how you want, but it is a little bit more work because you're starting from scratch. But let's take a look at some of the tools that you have in Piktochart. So first, on the left-hand side, we have this toolbar right here. You have graphics, so there are shapes that you can insert. You can click and drag the graphic to where you want it in your infographic, and then you can resize it, or you can delete it if you change your mind. You also have lines here. You click on Add a Line, then you come up here and you'll be able to see the kinds of lines that you can add. It can be solid, dashed, or dotted. So if I change that here, it'll change my line to dots, and then I can move that around depending on where I want it in my infographic. That's a great way to divide sections if you want to let your audience know that you're switching gears or that you're moving on to a new subject within your infographic. I can also add photos. So I can search for photos here, photos that Piktochart already has, or I can also download photos from a Google search onto my computer and then add them in the upload section right here. Just depends on the kind of picture or the content that you're looking for. They also have photo frames. So if I find a picture that I really like, or if I like one of these pictures, I can click and drag it onto my infographic. and it'll have that picture in a specific shape. So you can see how this is in kind of a diamond shape. And then I can add a picture there and it'll make it into that shape. Okay, this is the upload section. This is where you can download photos and then add them into your infographic. If you're looking for a picture of your influential person, this is a great way to do that. The background of your infographic can also be changed. So if I click on this section right here, let's say I want to change the background right here. I can choose from these different images that they have, these different patterns, and choose a new background. Okay, let's try it up here. There we go. Okay, so I can choose that background. Now, one thing you'll want to be careful of is your text. If it's over a patterned background, you still want to make sure that it's easy to read. So this looks a little busy and it's kind of difficult to read. So what I might do is change the background to something a little simpler and easier to see. Or I can also change the color of the text. Or I can put a block, a solid color block, behind the text. And the way I would do that is go into graphics and shapes and icons, and then I can pull this over here and make it however big I need it to be. And let's say we want this to be white. Come up here to the color and then choose a different color. And now that's white. Okay? Now, right now it's hiding my text. So if I want to make sure that I can see my text, then I can come right here. And this will say bring forward or send to back. So if I send to back, then it'll show my text right there, because my text will now be on top of the shape. So now I can go to my backgrounds, and if I want the stars, now it's a lot easier to read that text. But I still have that background that I want. Okay? We also have text options. So if I want to change this text, I just double click on it and I can type my own text right here, depending on what I want this section to be called. You definitely want to make sure that you have the name of your influential person on your infographic, so the top would be a good place to do that. There are different text options here for different sizes. You click on it and it'll add it into your infographic, and then you can move it. It's a little tricky to select sometimes, but then you can move it around in your infographic depending on where you want it. Okay, there's some other fun tools in here I'm going to let you play around with and kind of learn how to use. If you click on color scheme, you can change the color scheme if you're using a template and not a blank template. And then these are some tools that we'll talk about in class. So stay tuned for learning about these extra tools in Piktochart. Okay, so that's what you would do if you are going to start from scratch with a blank template. If you decide that you want to choose a regular template, something that already has some options that then you can just kind of fiddle around with a little bit, you can click on Infographic. So on the Infographic tab, I'm going to make sure that I'm looking at the free templates, and then I can choose from any of these templates. So you can choose any of these, whichever one that you like, how it looks best, or whatever you'd like to do. I'm going to use the About Me template because it seems like that would fit really well with the subject of my infographic. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Use Template. And now, using the tools that we just talked about when we were looking at the blank template, I can do all the same things here that I did there. So now that I have my template here, I'm going to get to work, start changing things so that it is specific to what I want to create.